Hello, thank you for watching. I hate making these films sometimes because I don't really know, unless you've actually asked for a subject, if what I'm going to be saying is of great interest to you. But this particular film is the most important one of all. It means a lot to me. If I were dying tomorrow, I would want to make this film now. It is the most important thing. It's being able to act. Now, there are lots of occasions when I've not been able to act in shows, and I know there are lots of factors involved, like whether a part suits you or not. And a lot of the time, we can get away with a kind of acting. What I'm talking about is certain moments in certain plays and scripts when really you can't pretend, you can't fake it. It's got to be real, it's got to be acting. Okay, so here's the part that you've been given. It's in a play or a film, and your first entrance is made into a room with only one other person in it. They are sitting in a sofa, and as you walk into the room, you see them, and your first line, after, according to the script, you react to seeing them, your first line is, "Oh, I'm surprised to see you." Okay, that's the first line. Now, this is the kind of line which people like me go mad when we see people doing it, if they're not acting properly. If you say the line in a relaxed, casual way, "Oh, surprised to see you," that's fine. It will lead on to the other lines, and there are hundreds of ways you could say it in a simple way of, "Oh, I'm surprised to see you." And that would be okay as well. The other lines explain what's going on and it's fine. But if you decide you want to be really surprised to see them, and you fake it, if you say, "Oh, I'm surprised to see you," then I really go angry in a theatre. And a lot of people do. And it's because if you're faking it, if you're pretending it, if you're pretending to be surprised, then the audience might think, first of all, your character is pretending to be surprised. But apart from anything else, it's just obvious if you're faking it. And if you're not meant to fake it in the scene, and if you want to start the scene off with a bang, you've got to start off with being actually surprised to see them. Actually. You've been rehearsing it for a few weeks, you've been playing it for a couple of weeks, or you've been doing lots of takes, let's say, as well as rehearsing it, if it's for a film. So you've said it lots and lots of times. But when you see them, when you come into the scene each time, you should actually be surprised, not talking yourself into believing that each time you're surprised all over again, because that will just look like you're trying to be surprised. It's just nonsense. It's insulting, because it's insulting. And that sounds so hard and harsh and rude and angry and boring of me. And when I'm in a show with other actors, I really don't notice or think for a split second about their acting then. It doesn't help me at all to question what their acting is like. I always assume they're brilliant, and they probably are. Probably a lot more brilliant than me. But if I'm in an audience and I've given my time and my money, you've got to actually be surprised. Now, if you don't know how to do that, then that's what this bit of film is about. You've got to actually be surprised, actually. You go into this room, there's someone there, and you could sort of go in quite fast and then stop and take a breath and say, "Oh, I'm surprised to see you here." But that's just acting in a sense of putting it on, pretending, faking. It's just anyone could do that. You've got to actually be surprised. And if I sound, well, I am being aggressive, but if I sound unkind, I know that I myself, and God, even great actors like Gene Hackman and Meryl Streep, have got parts that don't suit them, that they can't really do that kind of thing. And God knows, a million kinds of parts I can't play. So it's quite reasonable if you're not acting in some things, but there are certain things which I think we've got to be able to do. For example, if you've got to go into a scene into an empty room and search for something and then call out, "No, I don't think it's here," you can actually search for something. I don't mean pretend to search for something. You actually search for something. See if you can find some ash on the carpet left by the stage management. Actually look for it. Actually look for it. And it will grow inside you. It will become lost in the psyche and become looking for whatever it is you're actually looking for in your part. And if you go into a room and you say, "I'm surprised to see you," then the audience gets kicked from the beginning into wanting to know why they're surprised and what's going on. And from the word go, you've got the audience excited. Let's do an exercise. And then as this couple of films goes on about making sure that you're actually acting on some lines, and if you get some lines right, just one, everything else may follow from it. Let's do this exercise just to clarify things, and we'll come to a particularly different kind but interesting and valid kind of acting which some film stars use. But I'll come to that a little later on in these two films, and for first let's just do this exercise.